Hey guys, Chosen Individual here with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Rebel Rebels guide for, well, showcase for Minecraft. And as you know, I'm not going to be handling it. Captain Chosen is going to be handling it. But before that, I just want to say a couple things, and it's that this project has been a dumpster fire. I mean, hell, you might notice that there's no longer the counter on the right. You know, that one that displayed deaths and that said that was Team Omega? It's gone. And the reason for that is because let's just say I accidentally corrupted my previous world while recording part 2. I was loading up a nuke as I was talking, the game just crashed, shut down, and when I opened the world again, it wouldn't let me. It corrupted the world. So yeah. I've also gotten interrupted many times by power outages and just day-to-day things. So I hope this run goes well. But okay. Now that we're clear, now that we're good, off with you, Captain. Thank you, Chosen. Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Captain Chosen and today I am going to be showcasing part 2 of the Rival Rebels mod for Minecraft. Pay attention because this one's going to be an intensive one, alright? Alright. So today we're going to be taking a look at nukes, which I said in the previous video that if it got, I think it was 3 likes, then I would do part 2. And it definitely did. I'm not just making it up because I got impatient. No, totally not. Anyways, so the materials you're going to need is a nuke top and a nuke bottom and some pliers. So let's build our first nuke. You're gonna want 1 and 1. And now, the reason it's with crates, it's because there's many different shapes and ways to build a nuke. And now click, and now we got a nuke here. Beautiful. Whack nuke, taxi nuke, happy nuke, whatever you want to call it, whatever the developers want you to think, do not believe in it. It's a conspiracy. Anyways, so once you grab your pliers again and click here, it will open the GUI where you can see the timer and that this is a nuclear bomb. I gotta say, this is pretty cool. It looks pretty sick. And you're gonna need many different components to fill up this bomb. You're gonna need a fuse, you're gonna need some nuclear rods, you're gonna need your team chip, and you're gonna need a timed bomb. So first, load this center slot with nuclear rods. As you can see, because I've only got one, it's only got 2.5 megatons of power. But as I start duplicating them and putting more in, I get more power, and the GUI is slowly getting redder as it shows that the bomb is getting more and more loaded. I'm just gonna go to 20 megatons for now. Actually, I'm gonna go with, yeah, just 20 megatons. I'll put the time bombs here, and put the chip back here, and then finally put the fuse in here. And one thing you might notice is that there's a timer, and you can change that timer actually if you type in the command /rrconfig nuke time, and then your set number, for example, 45 seconds. There we go. The timer has now changed to 45 seconds, which means that any nuke that is detonated from now on will have 45 seconds in its countdown. But you can obviously, if you want to change the time, just do the command again, or /rconfig nuke time, and I'm gonna set it back to standard, which is 25 seconds. Well, now when you're ready, just put the fuse here. And when you do that, you'll see that the timer will start ticking down for 25 seconds until detonation. And you want to run, okay? You want to run really far. you're gonna want to run far, far away. Radiological alarm, nuclear weapon armed, 10 seconds left. Oh my god, we've gone far enough. Boom. The mushroom cloud, oh my god, lagging for some reason. You can see it starts destroying the whole terrain. Oh my god, so much destruction. And this is only 20 megatons. Imagine the destruction it can cause with 25 megatons. This is already bigger than the explosion that you could see with, I think it was the more TNT mod, which had a quote-unquote nuclear explosive. But yeah, that's it. Big mushroom cloud, which in my opinion should look better. Don't worry that. Okay, so it turns out a meteor just decided to land right where I am. Okay. I also like the I think it was the M202 hack, rocket that I showcased last time. It will irradiate this entire area, or irradiate any dirt, and the blast pressure will also change on the cobblestone. I've got to say, this mushroom cloud is okay for being made over 12 years ago. But the other ones are gonna get better, so just you wait. Just you wait. Yes, this is not the only nuclear weapon in Rival Rebels. There are, I think, a total of 7. Yeah. So we'll be seeing all of them today, except the hack nuclear launcher, which I already showcased last time. Now, one quick thing which I should cover is how to disarm bombs. So let me just you know, fill this one up. Just 2.5 megatons. I don't need to fill that up that much. A fuse, chip, and the time bomb. So the only way to win in Rival Rebels battle mode, which is likely what you're going to be using most of the time. The only way to win is to nuke your enemy's objective. And the way you do that is by either calling in a tactical strike, which we'll talk about in a bit, or by manually placing a nuke there. And there we go, the nuke is armed, and I'm starting to feel scared. Oh no, I'm gonna lose. Don't worry, just come up to it with your pliers, open the GUI, and target the vital things. Defuse the timed bomb and the chip in the case of the nuclear bomb. So for example, if I take the chip out, the fuse, the bomb is automatically defused. The timer goes back to 25 seconds, and no matter how much it is into the detonation, it will not explode. As long as you take out one of the core components. Do not target the nuclear storage, as I'm gonna call it, because it's not effective at all, and well, it could cost you a round. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, now let's go to this beautiful little building that I just spotted over here, which I'm pretty sure is new. I mean, I have never seen it before, but it's made with nuclear tech mod stuff, so must have been in there for a bit. And here we're gonna build our second nuke, and that is the Tsar Bomba. Now, for historians, well, for anyone who isn't a historian, the Tsar Bomba is, I think, the most powerful bomb ever detonated. It was made by Russia, and well, you want to have these 4 nuke top crates, and these 4 nuke bottom crates arranged like this, and then you want to click on the upper left corner. Boom. And here we have our beautiful Tsar Bomba. As you can see, the inside is hollow. There was a meme in Rudolph's videos where they would place a bed here and sleep, quote-unquote, inside the nuke. But I'm not entirely sure how they did that, okay? Anyways, grab your pliers, same as the last nuke, and then once again right-click to open up the GUI. And as you can see, this one is many different from the other one. You're gonna need a fuse, Again, you're gonna need some nuclear rods, some hydrogen rods. You're gonna need some antennas, 2 antennas actually, and your team ship. Oh, and a time bomb as well. So the first thing you're gonna want to do is to fill up these nuclear storages. As you can see, it says unbalanced, which means that it will not go off unless I rebalance it like this. There we go. Now we got 18.75 megatons. The maximum yield of the Tsar is, I think, yeah, 50 megatons. So for now, 37.5, which is already higher than the standard yield for the maximum yield for the nuclear bomb, and the maximum 50 megatons. Now I put the antennas here, ship down here, timed bomb, and the fuse, and it is armed, and time is starting to tick. So we should get away because this is a one-hit kill, no matter what. If you're in survival mode, you do not have any chance of surviving if you're near the bomb. You just immediately die. The death messages are also a bit glitched, but don't mind that. Radiological arm, this one has a buzzer beeper typo thing. And soon, boom! Massive shockwave, massive fireball, massive cloud, and large there it is. With so many chunk updates, my PC is starting to struggle on keeping up. There we go. Yeah, it destroys anything. It completely obliterated the building, you can see. It will also create a quite large crater. It will vaporize any trees in proximity, and it will come to petrified wood, which is radioactive. Water is, I'm pretty sure, unaffected, but yeah. Look at this. If for some reason your friend has pissed you off and you really want to get back with them, there's one way to do it. I'm not condoning these nuclear weapons for revenge at all, but like, hey, it's your world, man. It's your choice. Provided you have this one, of course. Or you could also attack it with a big ass robot if you prefer that. As you can see, massive crater. If we compare it to the other one, I think actually the other one is bigger. But that is probably because of the mountainous terrain. As you can see, this was exactly the point where the bomb was detonated. It ignores blast resistance, so it just deleted everything. Yeah. So give me a sec, and I'll go to a less destroyed location to try the rest of the nukes. Okay, so here we are in a less destroyed location to continue with our experiments. Now the next nuke up on our list is the Theo nuke, aka the theoretical Tsar Bomba. You're gonna need the exact same components like Tsar. It creates a range like this, but instead of clicking on the top, which would give you Tsar, click on the bottom, and that will give you Theo. Now, in the same yield, 8 rods, aka 50 megatons, Theo actually does less damage than Tsar, but it can way overpower. It has double the Tsar's maximum yield, allowing for huge explosions. Just one thing though is that I'm not gonna detonate this one maximum yield, because in my experience, just saying it takes an eternity isn't enough. Like, it takes an eternity and then some. So I'll be detonating it about medium yield. Not much bigger than Tsar probably. So you're gonna need a nuclear rod. You're gonna need well, some nuclear rods, you're gonna need some antennas, you're gonna need some fuses, you're gonna need some chips. Well, one chip, your team chip, and a timed bomb. Now we don't need to balance this one, and I'll just fill it out just after the limit of ZAR. 75 or 62.5 megatons. Now put in the time bomb, the chip, the fuse, and the 2 antennas. And there we go, it's now armed. The time is ticking. That our next objective is probably gonna be that factory. Let's wait 25 seconds for Theo to go off. Radiological alarm, nuclear weapon armed, 10 seconds left. Whoa. As you can see, the mushroom cloud is much bigger than ZAR. Destroys everything in its path. And when I say everything, I do mean everything. I can't compare the crater, but rest assured it is much, well, slightly bigger than the maximum yield ZAR test we did. And yes, this is quite massive. This is a big, actually, area of land that was cut off. Oh man. I would have to reload the chunks to show you everything. Because it turns out I don't have enough chunk updates. I do have Optifine installed, but it isn't showing me the settings for some reason. If I go to video settings, it won't show them to me, which is a bit strange, but alright. Now let's go to a less destroyed area where we will detonate our next nuclear weapon. Alright, let's go to the desert, just like New Mexico. And here is where we're going to detonate our next nuclear weapon. We're gonna need 2 stacks like this, and then click on the bottom, and that will give us a reddish nuke, the Tachyon nuke. And a very special, well, it has a different GUI, but it has pretty much the same components as ZAR. And there is actually something interesting about this, and it's that you can't use normal nuclear rods. You're going to need the same components: fuse, your team chip, 2 antennas, and a time bomb. But as far as rods go, you are going to need to enchant them, which is very, very expensive. So you're not going to be detonating one of these very often, especially if you're in survival mode. I mean, the fact that nuclear rods are non-renewable, you can only get them from, I think it's ammunition / supplies / explosive crates. Yeah, you're not going to be detonating any of these that often. So I'll just enchant one rod and use middle mouse button to duplicate them. As you can see, both of our rods are beautifully enchanted. And what? Open them with the pliers. And as you can see, now the Tachyon nuke will start accepting them and detecting them. Let's do it maximum yield. It has the exact same yield as our 50 megatons, but much different effects that I want to showcase. The two antennas, the fuse, the timed bomb, and the chip. And the timer will now start counting down towards the inevitable doom of this unfortunate area. So let's run away. Radiological alarm, nuclear weapon armed, 10 seconds left. Oh my god. Boom. Huge. Is this supposed to be a fireball? I don't know. But it's already destroying much of the land. As you can see, it's flying things everywhere. And this is the mushroom cloud. It looks much cooler than the Tsar Bomba, but it's the exact same. Although one thing is that it expands, so it just kind of looks chunky. Like after a bit, it just kind of looks chunky, like kind of fat, not that threatening. The best thing would have been to make it taller, not wider. But still, it's destroying absolutely everything in its path. It's even converting some of the stone into obsidian. So if you need a lot of obsidian, that's a good place to get some. This will keep going for quite a bit. If you've got a low-end computer, I do not recommend that you use this because Tachyon is quite resource intensive, especially because of the mushroom cloud. And because if the explosion center is not loaded, then the bomb will not continue and it will just kind of be glitched in a kind of perpetual detonating but not detonating sort of space. It's very strange. As you can see, it's also emitting some sort of shockwaves, ring things. The mushroom cloud will eventually reach a limit and it will just kind of pulsate. I don't know how to call it. It'll sort of shift. It also lifts these huge amounts of blocks, which are sure to kill you if you're standing there at the bottom. It'll just suffocate you. It'll just eat you up and suffocate you. Okay, so the explosion is done. I'm wait until the music stops just to be safe. Oh, by the way, that music is pretty cool. Set to like that. Right. Let me just reload the chunks. So it should now show the full extent of the crater. And if we compare it to the explosion by Theo, this definitely wins out. It's much bigger. If you want to destroy your friend's house and make sure they never ever rebuild it again, this is one good way to do it. As you can see, huge crater, tons of obsidian, and a wide area of bedrock uncovered. Yep, that's bedrock, alright. There's some bedrock, all deposits here. It's just absolute badness. And it will, of course, lag. There we go. And it will, of course, kill anything in its path instantly. If, for example, I don't know, let's say poor animal were to get caught by any nuclear explosion, really, it will just one-hit them. So you can use them to take down really strong enemies from Nuclear Tag mod, for example, like Boltron Prime, or the Haunted Chopper, or the Masked Man. Who knows? You can use these. You can also use these bombs if you want to. I don't know. Have some equipment, some OP, include tech mod equipment. They don't want to fall into the wrong hands. Just have a sort of emergency detonation, SCP style, and it will just destroy everything and kill anyone who dares to stand near it when it explodes. There's also one thing now that I should mention, and is that Rebel Rebels has much better, quote unquote, explosion statistics than nuclear tech mod, and that is because these are procedurally generated. Now I know you might cringe at the term procedurally generated, but don't worry, this ain't half bad. Basically, if your PC is a potato, it will not be able to handle nuclear tech mod explosions, because it just happens all at once. Yes, it's kind of more realistic, and I know the algorithms were done by Rule Fato as well. It's more realistic, but if your PC isn't strong enough, it'll crash the game, it might even corrupt your world, it might blue screen your computer, so... Now that's one thing I like about Rebel Rebels, and is that it's not all at once. Although there are ways to make it a bit faster, so it's a bit more like a bomb explosion, and not like, I don't know, the terrain just disappearing. Alright, let's go deeper into the desert. Or not. Let's go into this just go into this green area over here to detonate our final, quote-unquote, craftable nuke. And that is one that you guys are probably gonna like. So let's go over here, for example. Make sure that we can compare the crater size once they're done. There we go, that's the ticket. And you want to make the same stack as before, but instead of clicking on the bottom, you want to click on the top. And that will give you the antimatter nuke. Ooh, scary. Now this one also takes enchanted rods, so you're gonna need some nuclear rods and some redstone rods. You're gonna need a fuse, you're gonna need 2 antennas, you're gonna need a chip and a time bomb. Just place that on your enchanting table and enchant your rods. Open it back up with pliers. And now we can start filling this to maximum yield, that is. One quick warning while I fill up this nuke, and that is that extreme flashing will happen when you detonate this nuke. So if you don't want that to happen, just look away. There is a command that you can use to turn flash off. That command is /rrconfig flash and set to false. But I am not going to use it, just because I want to show you how the flash looks like. But do be aware, if you're photosensitive or suffer from epilepsy, it might be best that you skip on this part. It's best to download the mod by yourself and test it without flash on. But it looks sick, trust me. Well, put the time bomb in. Final warning, I am not responsible for any damage. I have warned you. Extreme flashing is about to come up. 10 seconds left. Final window of time to switch. I forgot to break my enchanting table. Boom. As you can see, a lot of flashing, which is why I warned you. This huge dome-like cloud will converge the entire area. As you can see, blocks and kind of water and animals are flashing on screen, but they aren't actually there. It's just kind of an illusion. It's a singularity. Yeah, it's a singularity. So it's flashing stuff on screen that isn't actually there, and probably didn't exist to begin with. As you can see, we can see some water and mud, but there's nothing actually there. I don't know how that feature works, but it is so cool. It is by far one of my favorites. You also create this like little, well, not even little, this like, what do you call it? Like a sort of aura. If you get far enough away from the bubble, the effects will sort of fade out. But once you get back the albums, you can see, and the nuke should now have concluded. Let me wait for the music to end just to be safe. There we go. And this crater, kind of big. Kind of pretty big. Yeah, it's pretty big. We made another hole all the way down to bedrock. It's a bit more destructive than Tachyon, since it doesn't generate obsidian, which kind of gets in the way in some ways. But it does generate a tiny amount of obsidian, not as much, but I guess it's still there. And so, yeah, absolutely huge crater. Again, if you want to get rid of something and make sure it doesn't stand back up, like a spider, your friend's dog, or your dignity, then this is one way to do it. Well, not just one. There's many ways to do it. This is definitely one of the coolest. Saying you bombed your dignity with an antimatter nuke isn't one thing you can say every day. Yep, absolutely huge. Everything has just been obliterated. I think it will, yeah, also lift and kind of leave these strange patterns with the blocks that aren't destroyed but moved. And yeah, this is sure to deal with pretty much anything you put in front of it. You know what they say, if it's standing in front of you, and all of a sudden this thing explodes, it ain't standing in front of you anymore. Although that kind of applies to guns, not bombs, but I'm applying the same algorithm. Anyway, so now let's move on to the final part of this guide, and I'll need to go to a less destroyed location again to show you how this works. So just give me a couple seconds, and with the power of editing that is, and I'll find a less destroyed place. 3, 2, 1. Alright, cadets, here we are. Now let's go into the final aspect of this video. So, let's talk about airstrikes. You're gonna need a controller, which you can craft like this. 2 batteries, supplies, some steel, a chip, a detonator, and an antenna. Go ahead and place it down near you. It's kind of a movable command post, you know what I mean? You're going to want to open up the GUI. And for the GUI, you're going to need 4 chips. Your team chips, of course. You're going to need 1 nuke top and 1 nuke bottom. You're going to need an antenna, a plastic explosive, 3 nuclear rods, and 3 hydrogen rods. There we go. I'm also going to need a laser target designator. Click this button, and we now have 3 nuclear strikes. So as you can see over there, we have an enemy base with loads of dangerously armed villagers and a bunker. We could go in and clear the building ourselves, but that would be dangerous. Instead, we're calling it an airstrike. Hold on. Just have to get those commands so that the B2 will go away. And bam! That building is no longer in the way. What about that bunker? Well, simple too. Call in another airstrike. Everything destroyed. Let's call in one more just for good measure to secure that we have completely destroyed the entirety of the enemy base. And there we go. That's nuclear strikes. Now let's go ahead and get some conventional strikes. Nuke top, nuke bottom, antenna, plastic explosive, and instead of the hydrogen and nuclear rods, you can need 6 timed bombs. And now we got 3 conventional strikes. So, for example, that radio tower over there. Oh, it's out of range. Hold on. I can barely get it. As you can see, it will drop conventional explosives. It doesn't do much damage to blocks, but it does do a bit of damage. And you can also use the B2 for other things. For example, /rrconfig B2, and that will. Oh wait, no, never mind. /rrconfig B2, for example, supplies. And that will allow the B2 to drop supplies for our troops, just in case you're running low. And there we go. Easy supplies, drop them near to your position, although make sure the enemy doesn't see them. We have ammunition, we have explosives, we have armor, we have weapons, supplies, yeah, just supply drops in general. So, depending on the type of mission, you can now use the B2 in different ways. And you can also use it for some other stuff, /rrconfig b2. Let's say... what other command? We can also set TNT if we want. Target acquired. Oh wait, no, wrong type. There we go. And we'll drop TNT on the target. And although it is less efficient, it is more efficient at breaking blocks, but less efficient at killing enemies, sort of, because the armors have high blast resistance, so I doubt you'll be able to get much hits on them. As for resetting it, it resets every time you leave the world and rejoin, so you can do that. But if you're in a server, I think you can just I think there's a command, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't remember. So yeah, that's how the controller works. However, be advised, if the controller is broken for any reason without taking out everything that's inside, that stuff will be lost. So make sure you don't do it unless you're 100% sure that you have nothing in there that you need. What other... Oh, I have an idea. I can also drop different types of nukes from the from the B2 instead of the B-83 nuke, which is the standard one. If you coordinate another nuclear strike, you can, for example, drop ZAR. So let me show you how to do that. Boom. /rrconfig b2 zar. And now we'll just point it over there. Target acquired. And it will drop to zar bomb. It does more damage than the B83. So yeah, to be aware. You can also drop /rrconfig b2 antimatter, for example. Wrong type of strike. And there we go. It does a lot less damage, but it's pretty cool. And finally, well, you can say it to every type of nuke in the game. So our config b2 nuke, and that will be the default nuke that I showcased first in this video. Say it to over there. Whoop, wrong type of strike. There we go. So yeah, you can drop whatever type of nuke you want from the B2. You can also drop supplies, creepers, TNT, instant lasers, Teslas, flamethrowers, different types of mobs. The only thing you can't use it for is to drop in layers, which would be super cool, but unfortunately it doesn't work. I mean, I guess someone would have made an add-on for that if this mod wasn't over 10 years old and no longer got any support. Which is unfortunate. I really like this mod. It has a lot of cool concepts and stuff in it. But well, cadets, that's enough nostalgia for today. Thank you so much for watching this training video, and I hope to see you all on the battlefield. This has been Captain Chosen, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, cadets.